MAGA Mike Johnson, the MAGA Republican Speaker of the House, MAGA Mike Johnson, in a panic on live TV on Fox. You had Mark Levin, who speaks like, Mark Levin, big Trump propagandist. He tries to cover for Donald Trump covering up the Epstein list and the Epstein files. And so Mark Levin with MAGA Republican Speaker MAGA Mike Johnson is just like, let's just move past this whole Epstein thing. We shouldn't talk about it anymore. Here, play this clip.
Cycle.
We have a lot to run on, and you have a lot to run against, given the other party. But I will tell you this, we better be united, we better be strong, we better be focused, we better be articulate. We can't waste our time on Epstein and other stuff that are going on here that some people want us to focus on. I've about had it with all that stuff. We better focus on who we are, what we're doing, where we want to take the country, and what they want to do to the country. Mr. Speaker, God bless you, my friend. I appreciate you very, very much.
You too, Mark. Thanks for all you do. God bless.
All right. Now, MAGA Mike Johnson must have seen the polling data right now. In a generic matchup, Democrats versus Republicans from Atlas Intel, the most reliable pollster in 2024, Democrats lead 52 to 44%. Who do you trust more in immigration? Democrats up 49 to 45%. Dems surge past Republicans in a generic poll, 51.3% to 42.7%. 52.6% of Americans believe the Epstein scandal will be very important to them in how they vote. On overall Trump's evaluation by voters, only 36.6% say he's doing a excellent or good job. Poor to very poor is 54.3%, and he's underwater in basically every single category. So here's how MAGA Mike Johnson tries to frame it. He goes, look, if we don't win these midterms, they're going to go and impeach Donald Trump, and our country's going to be over. That's how he tries to frame it. Here, watch this.
But you are up against a fierce opponent, fierce opposition, and same with their courts. I fear greatly. We can't win every election. I fear greatly, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 12 years from now, if they take one chamber or they take the presidency, that they will try to unravel everything that we're doing here. And it's kind of hard to stop them, right?
Well, absolutely. I mean, everything is on the line in the midterm election in 2026 is why I keep highlighting the importance of that, because remember, it's only twice in 90 years that a sitting president has picked up seats for his party in the House, for example, in that first 2-year cycle after he's elected. But we must do it. We must defy history and do that this time, because if the Democrats, the radical, woke, progressive, Marxist Democrats, were able to take the majority in the House of Representatives, they would impeach President Trump on the first day of that Congress. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Early January of 2027, and it would descend again into chaos. They abuse their power as they did in the last time. We will resort again to lawfare and all the abuses. It will be a disaster for the country. And so this is about much more than politics. It's about the founding principles of the country. And
by the way, I don't even think MAGA Mike Johnson understands his talking points here. He goes, there are two parties, and we will be able to go out to the people and demonstrate very clearly that there is only one choice if you care about the future of the country. Y'all think you're doing a good job right now? You're literally destroying our country every single day. Here, play this clip.
Said on the floor and on the eve right before the vote on the big, beautiful bill, look, there's two parties here. One is into performance art, and the other party is here delivering results. And I am so happy and very bullish about the upcoming midterm election in 2026, because we will be able to go out to the people and show all this, demonstrate it, illustrate very clearly that there really is only one choice if you care about the future of the country. And we will be presenting that with bold colors, as our hero Ronald Reagan used to say.
Then MAGA Mike Johnson lists a bunch of things that literally the Republican stands for none of it. Here, play this clip.
It's about the founding principles of the country and preserving the very foundations that made us who we are. We believe in our party in the simple truths, right? The foundational principles: individual freedom, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, human dignity. These are the things that are on the ballot. It's not just between dueling candidates. It's between the principles and the platforms that they present and represent.
And MAGA Mike Johnson has, the most fiscally irresponsible budget bill. The deficit's going to increase by trillions, our debt increasing by trillions every year. But MAGA Mike Johnson's just up there saying, and we're the most fiscally responsible party that there is. Here, play this clip.
But as I said, we're just getting started. There are multiple steps to what we're doing here. We're the party, the Republican Party is the party of fiscal responsibility. And we are demonstrating that day after day. Because of the president's leadership in the White House and what we're doing here, we just passed on Friday, of course, on Thursday night, late Thursday night, early Friday morning after midnight, we passed the first rescission package, and that is...
So then after MAGA Mike Johnson, they call in Kelly Leler, the small business administrator in the government. I mean, she's a billionaire and she's running the small business administration. And her perspective on the regime, the Trump regime cutting Medicaid, is that there are all these people who are using Medicaid as like a lifestyle, like the VIP Medicaid lifestyle. Were they popping bottles and making it rain with Medicaid? Here, play this clip.
All right, you've run for office, you have served in the U.S. Senate, you know politics is a rough and tumble sport. There's a lot of misinformation. What is some of the misinformation about this law and what it does and does not do? What would you advise people running for office defending this bill to be on the lookout for?
Well, there's a lot of it, Trey. I mean, there's much to be concerned about in terms of the lies that Democrats are telling about this bill. First of all, Medicaid. Anyone who needs and deserves Medicaid will not lose it. We happen to know that there are millions of able-bodied people on Medicaid. This is a lifeline service. It's not a lifestyle. So this.
Then MAGA Republican Senator Britt went on, and again, she's lying about, we're so fiscally responsible and we're going to stop all of this debt. Here, play this clip. You created it. Here, play this clip.
Identified earlier this year.
Well, once again, President Trump is making good on the promises he made to the American people. He talked about this on the campaign trail, and he is actually putting it into action. This rescission package is a first step to reining in wasteful spending. Look, Trey, where we are is unsustainable. This was significant. It is $9 billion, but at the same time, when you look across the board, we are $37 trillion in debt. We are just getting started. I actually have a special guest here in the studio with me, and it's my son. And this is about him. This is about the next generation.
They then have another host show up and say, Democrats are engaged in a classic case of projection. Here, play this clip.
They're engaged in a classic case of projection, and Bernie Sanders is leading the way.
Right now, within the Republican Party, you have what I might almost call a Stalinist-type party, a cult of the individual.
But it's actually the Democrat Party that resembles a cult of personality. Take Zohran Mamdani. He's hailed as a star of the party despite having zero accomplishments. And now there's another cult-like figure emerging, Omar Fateh. He's the far-left Minnesota state senator running for mayor of Minneapolis. Last night...
But I like this when the MAGA Republican governor of Florida, DeSantis, said, I think we should release the Epstein files. Like, let's just release it. And what he says, though, is he goes, we were ready to release it in Florida, but then the feds came in and they wouldn't let us release it. The feds basically have all of the documents other than what we were able to release. Here, play this clip.
So let's talk about the President of the United States late this week said, let's just let go of all the Epstein documents. You feel the same way, right? You did that when you first took over.
Yeah, so when I became governor, I launched an investigation of Palm Beach and how they handled this. And that was 10, 15 years prior to me taking office. We also were able to get legislation to unseal all the Palm Beach County grand jury information, and I signed that legislation. I had a number of the Epstein victims with me there. They were in their 30s by then, but they were, I think, 14, 15, 16 years old at the time. But I think what we found and what we did in Florida is the feds came in back in 2006, 7, 8. They swooped in and they took the case. So if you want to talk about what happened at that island, New York City, all these things, that is all federal. So what I would say is just release it, let people see. But I do think there's a desire for justice because Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell didn't just do this amongst themselves. I mean, there were obviously other people involved, and yet no one's been brought to justice.
course, he's saying right there that there's a list and there are files and the feds have it all right here. And then you have MAGA Republican Senator Lindsey Graham right here. I like how he lives in this like bizarre cosplay world where somehow the Trump regime is tough on Putin. He's like, we're coming after you, Putin. I would say Lindsey Graham is like the least intimidating individual like there is. Here, play this clip.
And Putin, your turn is coming. Donald Trump is the Scotty Scheffler of American politics and foreign diplomacy, and he's about to put a whooping on your ass. What's going to happen here is that Trump is going to impose tariffs on people that buy Russian oil. China, India, and Brazil, those three countries buy about 80% of cheap Russian oil. That's what keeps Putin's war machine going. So President Trump's going to put 100% tariff on all those countries, punishing them for helping Putin. Putin can live through sanctions. He could give a damn about Russian soldiers. But China, India, and Brazil, they're about to face a choice between the American economy or helping Putin. And I think they're going to come pick the American economy.
Oh, and then Fox had this guest on, Bo Ludden, a Trump influencer, who says, what really bugs me about that scandal involving that CEO from the company Astronomer who was cheating on his wife with the HR person at the company, and they were caught on the Coldplay script. He's like, we don't like adulterers in the Republican Party. We don't like really? Really? You sure about that? Here, play this clip.
I simply follow the Bible. I think this generation is destroyed. I like Exodus 20:14, which says, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." I think this generation is way too normalizing this stuff. But I'm glad that these people have been caught and exposed for it. And I hope they realize next time that God's watching, and sometimes the kiss cam is too.
And then, of course, Fox was trying to push the big scandal. Shouldn't be Epstein. The big scandal we need to talk about, according to Fox, is something about former President Obama and Russia, and that there was the Russia hoax in 2016, and that's what we should be focusing on. Dude, we see Donald Trump suck up to Putin every day. This is literally what Fox is saying. This is the real scandal here. Watch Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, with Maria Bartiromo. Here, play it.
I really cannot fathom. There is no rational or logical explanation for why they failed. The only logical conclusion that I can draw in this, Maria, is what you're implying here directly, is that there was direct intent to cover up the truth about what occurred and who was responsible, and the broad network of how this seditious conspiracy was concocted and who exactly was responsible for carrying it out.
So at the end of the day, we need to look at Pam Bondi. Is that the person who at the end of the day is going to bring us accountability? Pam Bondi?
Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, it is their responsibility to gather all of the evidence, both that we have released, the facts that have already been known previously, the information that will continue to come out, and move forward with this prosecution and these.
What they're doing and that they're panicking. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.